Welcome everyone to another episode of Rodian Radio. I'm your host Chase. I am here with my good friend Danny.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going?
And tonight we have a very fun episode for everybody tonight. This is not going to be a regular episode. I mean, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. Um, Basically, what we're doing is we're doing an analysis of the cantina scene, all the species and aliens shown in A New Hope in the cantina scene. We're going to go shot from shot. If you're listening to this on podcast, we apologize. You're not going to be able to see the aliens we're talking about unless you want to pull up the scene from A New Hope and watch it with us as we talk. But if you're watching this from YouTube, I'm going to try to throw up some pictures of each species where we're talking if YouTube doesn't copyright strike us, like YouTube does. So, yeah, good old YouTube. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the cantina scene here. All right, so first off, we see Luke and C-3PO and R2 and Ben Kenobi walk in the cantina, and I can hear you playing it in the background.
Yeah, blasting it.
All right, so before we get into that, I just want to let everybody know. We apologize for last week's episode. The audio was kind of choppy in it. We're trying to fix that tonight, as you may can hear that our audio from both sides is kind of even. Want to, if this is your first time checking us out, we really appreciate you listening to us. We really appreciate any support. Please help share. You're going to have to chill out with them keyboard clicks over there, man.
Dude, you can hear everything.
I can.
It's just a mechanical keyboard that I have. It's like...
All right, so we appreciate everyone checking us out. We would really appreciate it if you'd share us. If your podcast or listening platform of choice allows you to leave a review for us, leave a review for us. We'd love to hear them, good, bad, or the ugly. If you're, you can find us on Instagram at Rodian Radio Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at PC Rodian. You can find us on YouTube at Rodian Radio, and we are on TikTok on Rodian Radio as well. We want to hear from you. What's your comments about the show? We want to hear any questions you have that you want us to read over the air. You can send us your emails at RodianRadioPC at gmail.com. Let's see, what else did I have?
We got talk about our merchandise too. That we also have Rodian Radio T-shirts. We also have like the sweaters as well. They're really comfy and everything. We do appreciate if you guys check it out and ask us questions about it, because we're happy to answer any questions that you have. And by purchasing those products, that we do offer a fair price. We're not overpriced like other like private online sellers, anything like that. And also would help us with our show, because we would upgrade our quality and stuff like that, and all be thanks to you guys. And also you would have really cool shirts, so that would we appreciate if you check it out and ask us questions and stuff like that, because we're happy to help.
Yeah, you can find pictures of the merchandise on our Instagram page. If you click on our Instagram, it's like the very first highlight that we have under our bio. It says it's the Rodian merch. If you want to buy one of those, send us an email or a DM on Instagram of what you want, what size, and we'll try to get it to you as fast as possible. And you're paying for the quality. You're not paying for the name. You're not paying for the brand. You're paying for the quality of the shirts. They're very comfortable. They're very lightweight. They're not thick at all. I wear my hoodie just about every morning or so.
Same. Every single time I go to work, I'm like, what hoodie am I picking out?
Yeah.
I'll pick out the Wolfpack.
Yeah, and
for real, dude, it's so good. It's really good.
They're definitely worth it. They're definitely worth it. And the price that you're paying, it may seem, like scalper prices, but it's not. It's what it is you're paying for us to make the product, for us to get the product shipped to us, for us to ship the product to you, and with $10 extra for us to make a profit off of it. So we're not even really making a profit off of it that much. We're just here for the fans and to share our love and passion for Star Wars. But
and then we're also last thing I was gonna say, we are in a development to making it easier, instead of emailing us all the time. We're trying to make a website as well. It will take some time since we both have different schedules, but we are gonna make it in development, and hopefully it'll be clean and finalized sometime soon.
Yes,
and we'll definitely let you guys know.
Yes, very soon. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the cantina scene. If you want to pull it up on your Disney Plus or YouTube or whatever you want, and follow along with us. order as the aliens are shown on screen. So first off, we have a species called Defil.
Mhm.
It kind of looks like a werewolf kind of deal. It's the very first alien sitting to the left on the table. Little fun fact about them: they actually um, can pretty much become invisible to the naked eye with the light surrounding them. That's why they're so dark and hidden in the cantina, is because they can blend in with the light to make themselves invisible to people around them. So second alien we have here sitting next to the devil is a. I apologize. I know I'm gonna mispronounce half of these. But second one we have a Cinetin. They were actually, you could see them in the Clone Wars. Season 3, episode 1, I believe, was or one of the first episodes of Clone Wars season 3 was the Clone Cadets. And you had one of these species, I can't remember the dude's name,
Oh
but
yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he was kind of like
the trainer for,
kind of like yeah, like oh, he was a bounty hunter
yeah,
actually.
he was a bounty hunter for the who helped train Domino Squad.
Mm-hmm. And like he was kind of like what's the word? He had like he wanted that squad to fail. I remember, and like he's just was just like nah, like they're gonna fail. Like so, they put him on the maximum hard level, and I think
Yeah.
and like they did well. So it was like yeah. I guess those type of species are like very bitter and angry, but we'll see. They might use them differently in the future.
Yeah. And the third species we have, I actually could not find a name for this character. I could not find a
I can't
species. So, I mean, you're just going to we'll just call him question mark.
unknowns.
Unknown, yeah. It's the only one on the list that I couldn't find. All right, so the fourth alien that is sitting at the table is, let's see, how do you pronounce this? Advozse? Advozse. They were known for their thick skin and like I'm pretty sure they had long lives because of their thick skin. They were able to handle damage more than
More like reptilian style.
yeah,
That way,
yeah, sort of like their whole skin was. I guess you could compare it to like a turtle shell. It was just very, very thick. Can't really be punctured. All right, so then we have the fifth alien who pops up on screen. It's got the like the triangle head and the starry eyes. Those are
it's kind of like the Dorito chip.
yeah, the Dorito chip. Yeah,
And
those
that one was
are
also in the Clone Wars as well.
same episode. He helped train Domino Squad. Now his name was LS, but their species is called Arcona.
Cool. Okay.
They were actually desert dwellers, so that's why it makes sense that you would see one of them on Tatooine. They actually like dwelled in the desert. All right, so the next creature we see here is Abyssin, and you can see these in Mandalorian season 2, episode 1. They were I can't remember what scene those were in, but they are in that episode.
Are you talking about like the band players, or are you talking about the big furry?
I'm talking about the Abyssin, or the species with the one eye, like the Cyclops. Oh, I remember now. Okay, in Mando season 2, episode 1, when he goes into the Gamorrean Guard fight scene where they're like trying to kill each other, and he said,
Oh yeah,
to
with the Cyclops looking.
yeah, the Cyclops. That guy is an Abyssin.
Okay.
So the next species we have is the Talls, and they were actually in the Clone Wars. I think it was about season 1 or 2. It's whenever they're on the snow planet, and
Yeah.
yeah,
That episode was pretty brutal. Like
it
it
was.
was like you would see like clone troopers getting like stabbed with spears and stuff. Like damn.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
speeders look
Those are the
so
Talls.
cool. I thought that, and then like Captain Rex is like snow fit. Oh, we
Snow
got
armor.
What Black Series? Come on.
Now, when Hasbro was making the 3 3/4 figures before they were called the Vintage Collection, they actually did come out with a snow version of Captain Rex because I had it.
There we go.
But ever since then, I've never seen any other figure like that produced. The closest one would probably be the Black Series Snowtrooper. from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. You know how much money they'd make if they just based, like, they were like, all right, guys, we're going to base a whole year off of Clone War Black Series.
They would make a killing in money, but they would not be able to fulfill their pre-orders.
Nope.
I guarantee that.
The pre-orders they release like about like 10 to the whole country.
10 to the whole country, yes. And
it's not even worth opening it, to be honest.
It's really not. Like,
Black Series is not worth it.
Like, I'm to the point now to where I just want to take screenshots of all the reveals and say that's my collection, because that's as close as I'm going to get to actually
the digital
finding.
Edition. You get it for free.
Yeah, the digital edition Black Series collector.
Like, I feel like it got bad after. What's the one? I feel like. What's the Tech? I feel like the last good ones were like the Tech series. Like, when Tech came out, the Elite Trooper came out, and like all these other ones. And then like I thought the ones where Black Series was actually good was when they released like Anakin, Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars, and they also had Echo. Like, I thought those were excellent. And then they went downhill. That was like in the summer, and then they just went downhill to me.
To me, I feel like the figures that they released for The Last Jedi, that was their peak. I feel like after that, Black Series just went way downhill. You could go into Walmart and you could find a Kylo Ren, you could find Rey, you could find any of them, and then like after that wave, they just now you can't even find anything except for some Lando Calrissians.
Yeah, honestly, every time I see a Black Series at GameStop, it's always like your typical Imperial Jet Trooper or like your Snow Trooper, and I'm just like, I'm done with Black Series. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
I'm like 90% there. If I have to see another Imperial Jet Trooper, like, I'll be done. But anyways, let's continue on with
I'm getting there. List. Look, we made it into about 7 species, and we're already talking about how horrible Hasbro is.
Yeah. We're gonna keep mentioning it after each.
Yeah. All right. So the next species we see is a Bith, and those are actually the same species that is the Cantina band, and we'll get to them when we get down the list. But they were known for being peaceful species. They weren't really harmful at all. Never really caused problems. The second one we have is a Zakian, which were known for their keen senses and their fast reflexes. And you can actually see one of these in the Clone Wars. He was a bounty hunter. I forgot his name. I forgot what episode he is.
I remember that.
Yeah, but he was in the Clone Wars. And then the next one we have was also in the Clone Wars, a goat. There's one episode in the Clone Wars, I think, when Ahsoka loses her lightsaber and she meets the Gotal in the back alley of Coruscant. And I think there may be one in the Bad Batch.
Yeah. That's when the goat-looking thing, right?
Yeah, the goats.
Okay, nice.
They even speak with a goat sound. Yeah.
I feel like I've seen them in Rebels.
Yeah, they may be been in Rebels. I do know they were in the Clone Wars, though.
Yeah.
All right. So then the next species we have is this one's a little bit hard to pronounce. I'm going to try my best. Henemth. They were known for their sharp tongues. So, what a species. Like, George Lucas. George Lucas is like, yeah, I want a species. Give them sharp tongue. We'll give them a name nobody can pronounce.
It's another check for daddy.
It's another check for daddy. Okay, and then next we have everybody's favorite here. We have a Rodian.
Mm-hmm.
And, Rodians were Greedo. They were throughout the Clone Wars. They were throughout the original trilogy. One in episode 1, at the pod race, he was a little baby Rodian. We see him throughout the Book of Boba Fett. Rodians are probably one of the most popular Star Wars species, I would imagine.
One of the most, now it's the most recognizable.
Before that, I would say a Twi'lek.
Or a Jawa.
Yeah, or a Jawa. Yeah. All right, so after the Rodian, we have Nimbonals. They were also in the Clone Wars. And then next you have a Curish. Now, these were actually like not really human, but android humans. The one we see here in the cantina, her nickname was actually, she was actually known for Weird Girl.
Weird.
And I'm not kidding.
These weird names, weird girl. Yeah.
I'm not kidding. That's what Wikipedia told me. Weird Girl.
What I like about the cantina is like, if you want to know what Star Wars is, then I think that scene is what you need to watch.
That scene, exactly. You've got, I mean, just think about it. You've got species, you've got droids, you've got a lightsaber scene with Ben Kenobi cutting off Ponda Baba's arm.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Han Solo shooting Greedo. I mean, it's everything Star Wars in that one scene.
Pretty much is.
Pretty much is. All right, so next we have Sarin, which is basically to me like a knockoff Trandoshan.
Yeah.
That's what they look like. And then we have, after that, we have a Morse. Hold on, how you pronounce this? Morserian. They, I'm not really sure where they show up at. I'm not familiar with them. And then at that, we have a BIM, which were also known for a peaceful reputation. You know, there's another George Lucas. You've got two species, a BIM and a Bith, and they were both known for being peaceful. Like, not only do they sound alike, but they're both peaceful. It's just the mind of George Lucas. And then we have Anzati. Now, these species were actually known for being really dangerous. And they were considered dangerous because they were very force sensitive, but they used it in the wrong way, not necessarily dark side way, but like just choke you out if they didn't like you.
That's the Star Wars lore.
It is, yeah. All right, and then next we have a Yamri, which is basically like a ginormous praying mantis.
Like a ginormous praying mantis. Oh, they also have. I'm skipping. I'm a little bit ahead because I'm going like bit by the video, but they also have Cad Bane's character. Did we name that one already?
No, they don't come in until way later.
Okay, yeah.
So the Yamri were insect droid, not droid, but insect sort of species, and they were specifically known as Huck.
Yeah,
that's what they were known as galaxy wide, I guess. But yeah, it's basically a praying mantis. That's all it is.
Just a big bug.
Yeah, and then next we see Ben Kenobi talking to another human, and oh yeah, that's another thing I was going to mention. I'm not naming humans as a species in this cantina scene because that's just basic. But next we have Ben Kenobi talking to an astronaut who is standing in front of Chewbacca, and I'm counting Chewbacca because he is an alien species, and that is a Wookiee. Of course, everybody knows Chewbacca. Mm-hmm. And then after that we have the Oculish, which is Ponda Baba, and you can see them throughout the Book of Boba Fett. I'm pretty sure they're in the Clone Wars, but the Aqualish are most known for Ponda Baba. And then after that, we have another Rodian. Rodian getting a lot of love in the cantina.
Of course.
Until we see Greedo. Kill him off. Ego tutto solo. Bang. McClunky.
Like, nope.
Nope. All right, and then next we have everybody knows this one also, Snaggletooth. The Snaggletooth. Fun fact about the Snaggletooth: they were actually given their name. Like, they were not named when they filmed this scene. They were not given a name until Kenner came out with an act, and they were like, "We don't know what to call this, but we'll just call it Snaggletooth because he's got snaggle teeth," and that's how the Snaggletooth got its name. And then after that, in line, we have two Jawas. Everybody knows the Jawas. You know, they're just jerks. Jerks.
Honestly.
They're absolutely jerks.
I'm glad Mando incinerated one.
He incinerated about 3 of them.
I love it.
You know, that's another thing. Like, we have Mando just incinerating Jawas, and then we get to Boba, and Boba can't even take on one.
Let's not talk about the Book of Boba Fett.
There's Robert Rodriguez.
The Polynesian spy.
Yeah, more like Left 4 Dead on the sands of Tatooine by Jawa. Stole my armor.
A Jawa? Really?
Yeah, that's.
Oh, goodness.
I don't know. All right, so that's the first half of the list. We're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, we're going to break down the second part of the list. Continue to follow along with us. We really appreciate if you've been following along with us so far. We know there's not really much to talk about these species. It's just kind of fun to actually break down and talk about all the species that were actually shown in the cantina, because nobody ever really talks about them. And, it's actually the first time we got to see Greedo. That's probably
the birth of Rodian Radio.
Yes, that's if anybody wants to put two and two together, Rodians are my favorite Star Wars species. That's why we're called Rodian Radio. But all right, so we're gonna take a short break. When we come back, we'll break down the second part of the list. Until then, enjoy this intermission commercial. What'd you call it? Intermission audio. Anyways, enjoy this intermission. We'll be back in a minute.
Hey, this is Skylar Bible from the Book of Boba Fett, and you're listening to Rodian Radio.
Join the dark side of the Force and subscribe to Rodian Radio on YouTube.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the second half here of Mos Eisley Cantina Alien Analysis. All right, so if you've been following along with us, our last place that we left off is the two Jawas that you see in the right-hand bottom corner. All right, next, these are actually like, I don't know, how would you describe them?
What are these?
The Vouvrian.
Vouvrian? What part of it in the video is it?
Right after the Jawas. To me, they look like somebody took a meatball and squished it up.
You can put it that way with the...
Yeah, they got 12 eyes and 2 antennas. And you can actually see Luke selling his land speeder to one of these species after the cantina scene when they walk out. Mm-hmm. That's the creature Luke sells his land speeder to. I think out of all the creatures in the cantina, that one is probably the most freaky looking.
You think so? I thought the werewolf one was pretty weird.
No. All right, so next we have the Chadra fan. These were rodent-like creatures. It's the little creature who's reaching up to the bar to get, like the bartender hands him some blue milk or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have the Deveronian. These are the devil-looking creatures. You can actually see one of these in the Bad Batch. Roland Durand. He was towards the last end of the Bad Batch.
Wasn't that the Mandalorian too? Like in the...
Yes.
Yeah.
What was his name? Blurg?
Something like that. But that guy played Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, so, Tom Clancy, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in the Mandalorian. Season 1, episode
like 6.
5, 6, something like that. Yeah. Whenever they go to the prison ship.
And then Anakin was on that show.
Yeah, Anakin was. Matt Lanter with the cameo. All right, next we have some more Biths, which is the actual Cantina band. Everybody knows them. Then we have the Cad Bane species, the Duros. These are probably the most logical looking creatures in the Cantina.
Logical?
Yeah. Yeah, they were known for their big blue heads, their very pointy faces, and the big red eyes. And actually, if you look at it, the Duros in the Cantina actually look like their heads look bigger than Cad Bane does in Boba Fett.
They do. It's like, imagine Cad Bane had an oversized head.
Well, maybe Boba took a little bit off the top when he shot him.
I know, right? Like trimmed it. He's like Boba. He tells Boba Fett, like, as his barber, trim the top a little bit. He's like, no worries.
Yeah, say no more. Yeah. All right, and then next we have the Lamproid. These were like, to me, these look like mini Sarlaccs. There were carnivore serpentine creatures, and sitting across from him is another. No, I'm sorry, that's not another Defal. Sitting across from the Lamproid, dude, you're gonna have to chill out with them keyboard clicks.
I'm like looking up the list of like all like the faces of the. Okay, nice.
Yeah, tell me it doesn't look like a mini Sarlacc.
It is a mini Sarlacc. They just gave it a different name.
They did. Lamproid. All right, and then sitting next to him across the bar right there is a Schistavanen. Schistavanen, however you pronounce that. They were actually, there was actually one of these who were a Jedi, and his name was Volvif Mon. He was a Schistavanen Jedi, so that's pretty cool. Then we have another Gotal, and then we have a Stennis Shifter.
Yeah.
They could actually use the Force to become invisible in big crowds.
That's crazy. And like you just realize, or I just realized that like some of these characters don't even have to be like Jedi's to be Force users.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's because it's Force sensitive creatures throughout the galaxy. It's not just Jedi and Sith.
It's not like in the sequels where like Finn's like it's a feeling thing.
Yeah.
That's not how the Force works.
That's not how the Force works. You got it all wrong, kid. Disney. You know what? Let's just take a minute. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Jedi Talk Podcast, if you're listening to us, it is 8:16 p.m. Central Standard Time. And The Last Jedi is still not canon.
It'll never be canon.
Still not canon. I mean, it is... technically, it is literally canon. Mm-hmm. But it's not my canon.
I don't see it.
I don't see it either. Anything up until the Book of Boba Fett season finale is where canon ends for me. And so whatever happens after that, for the Disney sequels to become part of my canon, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau are going to have to make it make sense for me.
They need to make like the Justice League, like the Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni remake. Like the same thing.
Yeah, the Favreau cut.
Mm-hmm. Of all 3 movies.
That is the only way that the sequels will become canon to me, is if Favreau makes it make sense. Mm-hmm. And if you agree with us, let us know. I know a ton of our listeners, mostly all of them probably, agree with me. Yep. All right, so moving on, we have another well-known species, a Thorian. They were known as hammerheads. We actually see them throughout the Clone Wars. It was Mayor Mok Shaiz in the Book of Boba Fett. He was an Ithorian. All right, and then
they were also in the Clone Wars as well, like the twin brother bounty hunters. That killed for the hat.
You mean Cad Bane?
Cad Bane, yeah.
He's like, it's a nice hat.
And then he's like, bang! He's like, that was his brother. It was like kind of sad at the same time.
It was sad, because Cad Bane got his hat back.
He did.
Yeah, it's a nice hat. All right, then we have a Brizet, which is like a fly-looking creature, like an oversized fly. You know, I wonder what George Lucas was thinking. Yeah, let's oversize some flies and praying mantises and more Gungans.
Whatever goes on in his head, like it somehow turns into art. We can't explain it.
It does. Like if I'm sitting here, like when I was putting these notes together, I was like, they literally took a fly, oversized it, turned it into a species, and gave it background story.
Like only in
Disney could never do that.
Nope.
Disney could never do that.
They could be like, oh yeah, they're irrelevant to the story. You know, they motivated the characters. You know, like they gave them passion. Like they over-explained it in the sequels. Like they thought the audience was like, you know, like I don't know, like they just couldn't grasp it. Like they thought they couldn't get it, you know. But like, you know, like we can visually see what's going on. You know, you don't have to over-explain it. You know.
Right. You know, that reminds me. One one of our listeners pointed out to me over the weekend, or yesterday. They were listening to a last episode, and they were like, Danny says like
A
a
lot.
ton,
I do.
a ton.
I
They're like,
listen back.
all I can hear is Danny going like and like and like.
Yeah, I got it from Shaggy. Like
Zoink Scoob.
like, let's get out of here.
Where's the Scooby snacks, dude? All right, back to the list. All right. Trillion. You say he's in the Clone Wars. Then we have a Given. The species were known, I guess, galaxy-wide, from my understanding, as geniuses. They're like they look kind of like Grim Reaper kind of characters. They're known for their skeleton-like looks, and I guess that's what makes them a genius. Who knows? And then the last species we see in the cantina is a ranat. And these were basically, again, an oversized creature that already exists. They just look like big rats. George Lucas was like, yeah, give me Master Splinter, put a Jedi robe on him, put him in the cantina.
Make that canon.
Yeah. No more Gungans. Now we have big rats. So there is the list, and there you have it. We appreciate if you've been following along with us. You got anything to say since we're done with the list?
So I just wanted to say about the cantina that in every Star Wars, I guess, like episode or like movie related besides the sequels, something relevant or important does happen in that cantina. For example, obviously in New Hope, there's like the whole, like Han Solo talking to Obi-Wan, we need to get you off world, that kind of thing. That's important because if that never happened,
we wouldn't have Star Wars.
Luke would never be a Jedi. And then in the cantina in the Clone Wars, when Obi-Wan was assassinated, I said it again. I said like, yeah. So like Anakin and Ahsoka went into this cantina, and then they were looking for the bounty that killed Obi-Wan.
Even in Attack of the Clones, they were in Coruscant and they were looking for Zam.
Yeah, that bounty hunter
who ran into a cantina.
Yeah, with
those events that Jedi happen, business. Go back to your drinks.
It's like, you want to buy
Jedi business. Yeah, you want to buy some death sticks.
It's just like Star Wars isn't Star Wars with the cantina, because even though it is like a small part of it, like it is a stepping stone.
It's like it's like the Uncle Ben telling Peter Parker, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, that's literally.
It's every movie, every Spider-Man movie, every Star Wars movie has a cantina.
Like I said again, but anyways, but Star Wars is cool, but without the cantina, there is no Star Wars. If you know what I mean. Like we can have clones, in a sense. We can have like battle scenes and stuff like that.
Even the clones have their own separate cantina.
Everybody has their own cantina. Like even like this is amazing. And but yeah, as I was saying, like the cantina is like where everybody goes, and without Star Wars, or if there's no cantina, there's no Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's one thing that the sequels lacked, is in any cantina scene, you never seen, outside of maybe Twi'leks, any species from the original trilogy or the prequels.
Friendly, because like it's just annoying. I don't know. We don't want to get into it. We can go into like 3-hour conversations.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, George Lucas said Star Wars was made for children, and you've seen how a big success the cantina scene was in A New Hope. And then Disney goes, and we all know Disney is about, family friendly, but somehow theirs doesn't work. And I believe that Disney tried to go over family friendly. Mm-hmm. That's why their movies doesn't work with the cantina. Like, if you think about it, in The Last Jedi, when they go into Canto Bight, there's not one single species that I can recognize from the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. And even in Solo, most of the people on Dryden Voss, his yacht, his space yacht, most of the creatures in there were all human. Mm-hmm. So it's just, it is what it is. We can't change it.
Definitely. That's pretty much what I have to say about it. It's the cantina is great. I like how it's relevant to any Star Wars thing besides obviously the sequels. And like it's whenever there's like a cantina scene and like in the Mandalorian Boba Fett, we're interested because it's like it's familiar and it's like anything could happen.
Even in the Mandalorian, season 2, episode 1, when he goes to Mos Pelgo or Freetown, you have a Weequay running the bar.
Mm.
I mean, it's a well-known species.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I've always loved the cantina.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have Greedo like we do.
Mm.
We wouldn't have McClunky,
Mm.
even though that caused a big uprise in the Star Wars community when George Lucas put that out, which I don't understand why people hated that so much.
There's gonna be so many haters in Star Wars. Like it's just
the Star Wars community is toxic.
Certain parts of it, to be honest,
even today, a Star Wars fan sent me a very toxic email.
Yeah, it'd be like that sometimes.
Like we're all here. We all share the same passion.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get along. We're all on the same bus.
Yeah, true.
Your bus is not better than my bus. My bus is not better than your bus, unless you're Jedi Talk podcast.
That's
those
a whole
guys.
Nother discussion.
Yeah, go check those guys out though. They're funny guys. Jedi Talk podcast. You can check them on our YouTube. But other than that, that's about all we had for the episode tonight. Just want to take a moment to talk about upcoming events that Rodian Radio has planned. We have some special celebrity guests lined up to come in, pretty big celebrities. One of them was from Return of the Jedi. Another one was from Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. He's a pretty big name actor, so you don't want to miss those. Follow us on our Instagram and our Twitter and TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube if you haven't already. I know a lot of our listeners are probably not subscribed to our YouTube. We can see the data on our platforms, and so go ahead and hit that subscribe button for us, and like and comment. It doesn't cost anything. It costs you maybe 15 seconds to comment, even if it's like great show. It all helps us. It does. It helps break the algorithms through YouTube and Instagram. The more likes, the more shares, the more we can come known through the Star Wars community. And we're actually here for the fans. We're not here to gain money. We're not here to rob people of their paychecks. We're not here to solicit. We're not here. We don't even do Patreon. That's how good for the fans we are. All of our content is absolutely free. And besides our merchandise, which you can check those out on our Instagram. But yeah, we got some celebrities lined up to come on the show. If you want to check out all of our celebrity interviews, they're on our YouTube and wherever you can hear us on podcast. But if you want to find them easy, they're on a separate playlist on our YouTube. The playlist is on the Bounty Files. That's the name of the playlist. You can check out our recent interviews with Dominic Pace and Skylar Bible.
I just want everybody to know that this has been a significant. It hasn't even been a full year yet since we've done Rodian Radio.
No, it's coming up though. It's getting close. A few more months.
I want you to know, everybody who's been watching from the beginning, thank you so much, and everybody that's joined along. It's been a long road, and like Chase said, we're here for the fans. We want to hear your opinion, and because it does make a difference. Because if all of us are thinking the same thing, maybe Disney will hear us out of a theory or something. They did with the Book of Boba. They threw in Rodian. They threw in Cat Bane.
That is true.
It could all be just a coincidence, but we called it here
way before the show even came out.
In this show, we're pretty serious about what we call out. We don't we call out stuff like Jar Jar Binks is going to be the main bad guy.
No, if we do something like that, it's all fun.
When I'm telling you guys, when the Obi-Wan Kenobi series comes out, we are going to dissect everything, because it includes the emotional stress, there might be some things
I'm not ready
that might be hard to explain, because the fans who watch Star Wars have come late in the show. It's not their fault, it just depends on what era they're coming from. So I can explain from like a non-Star Wars perspective, like what's going on. You know, like why is this character going through a lot? Like even though like you know what the character who the character is and the significance that they have. There's also like the psychological issues that they deal with and how like the actor portrays the character as well. Like everything that they do has an explanation unless it's the sequels.
If I don't hear Obi-Wan say hello there in the first episode of the first scene that he speaks, what's the point?
I'm gonna be honest with you, it most likely will not happen, but if it does, I would already consider it the best show out there. They need to.
Yeah, we're gonna put out a Kenobi prediction episode closer to the time it drops, which is May 25th.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said though, Rodian Radio is marching up on its 1 year anniversary. We're gonna do a special episode for that. We may do a Q&A from our listeners or something fun like that. Quick shout out though to Dr. Awesome on Instagram for being a sponsor for us. We really appreciate his support. He's got some great Lego photography pictures on his page.
Like it's so hard to take photos with Legos.
It is.
And make
I've done
look
it.
as good as he does.
I've done it, and I know what I'm talking about. It's hard work, especially if you use fireworks. You know, RIP Stormtrooper that I used.
It'd be like half their bodies just melted.
Turn yellow. But yeah, Dr. Awesome, he's on Instagram. We really appreciate his support. And anybody else who shares us out. I know we've got a few other people who share us out. 575 Toys on Instagram. We've got, I'm sure I'm missing some people. But if you want us to give you a shout out on the show, if you want to be a sponsor for us, you can send us an email at RodianRadioPC@gmail.com to be a sponsor for us. It's completely free, and it comes with perks. So we appreciate all the support. So that's going to do it for tonight's episode on Rodian Radio.
Yep.
Join us back next week for another regular program. Not an analysis like tonight. Tonight was just a fun, off the top of the head topic to talk about.
Because like right now we're in the awkward stage of like there
No
are
shows.
Star Wars updates, and there's also like intermission because we're planning towards the event in ICC. Like we're gonna have a lot of content for that. I'm guarantee you guys that we're
a lot of interviews.
Like you're gonna be driving somewhere, and then the people who you're gonna hear, if all goes well, you're gonna probably like pull the brakes or something like that.
Just cause a traffic jam.
Yeah, just like hopefully you'll be okay and everything, but you'll just be like, the Rodian Rodeo interviewed who?
Yeah,
because
it's gonna be
know,
big.
You'll know who they are.
Yeah,
I promise you. And us as fans, like, you know, we try to keep it professional, but like, you know, when we confront these people, it's like, whoa.
We're professional on the outside, but on the inside, we're fangirling.
In the inside, I'm like, we started interviewing toy photographers, and I loved it, and that was great. And then we've evolved since then. I like talking to them. They're really cool, like doing like, you know, like this photography, because I do have a strong passion for like toy photography.
Yes, and toy photographers actually got us where we're at today. So we love the toy photography community.
I will 100% support the toy photography community.
Yeah, even though some people can be toxic because they are Star Wars fans.
And
I love Star Wars. I love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But I really dislike Star Wars fans.
At times, like, it can be complicated. Like, it just depends on what background they grew up with.
And I don't mean all Star Wars fans. I mean the ones that are like, well, that can happen because so-and-so didn't say so-and-so. You can't mess with the space-time continuum. Like, get out of here. Go back to Marvel.
I've done it 1,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a big example. You put the Terminator and Predator and all that in Star Wars.
And I would actually defend it, because if they ever ask like, why isn't like the Terminator getting incinerated? It's basically a droid. I'm like, nope, this T-800 has Mandalorian armor, so it's unkillable.
Made of pure Beskar.
Pure Beskar, like exoskeleton. Boom.
Makes sense. That would be so cool to have a pure Beskar android.
They'd be unkillable. Like,
it would be like IG-88, but with full Beskar.
The only way they would kill him is with lava.
Yeah, or a lightsaber. No, a lightsaber doesn't penetrate Beskar.
It doesn't penetrate.
Only
heat of a-
Beskar penetrates Beskar.
Yeah, so unless they have like silver bullets, like to kill a werewolf, there's no way. Like, imagine a storm of like stormtroopers versus a dude full like that was Mando, like 5 stormtroopers versus a Beskar armor. There's no way. Like, besides if they're a bounty hunter, you have to know the weak spots, but you have to be a professional, you know.
Yeah, you have to Cobb Vanth.
And even Cad Bane, I think Cad Bane's the only one that could kill anybody with Beskar armor besides like a Jedi.
I don't know. I feel like he could take on a Jedi, even in Beskar.
Cad Bane?
Yeah, Cad Bane.
No, I'm saying like anyone, like if it was between an average Joe and a dude with Beskar, the guy in Beskar would win. Like,
Against Cad Bane?
no, I'm saying like no against like any person with Beskar.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
The other
now.
way around. Yeah, the Beskar dude versus average Joe. Like,
I mean, the Mandalorian does a great job of that because Mando literally takes no damage in anything unless he brings it upon himself.
The only damage he takes if he gets stabbed. That makes sense because like you can't like it's like even with like medieval armor, you know, like it's not 100%, you know, but like if they get like the sweet spots, you know, like that's it, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, but that pretty much wraps us up.
Oh, the audio's down there for a minute. Let's retry that. Okay, that's going to do it for Rodian Radio tonight. We really appreciate everyone checking us out. Again, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Please subscribe to our channels. Follow us on our social media. Send us emails at RodianRadioPC@gmail.com. You can find us on Instagram at Rodian Radio Podcast and Twitter at PC Rodian. We appreciate everyone checking us out. And until next time, may the force be with you on Rodian Radio. I'm Chase.
This is Danny.
And we are out.